Hello, it's me, Dr. KB, and today we're gonna try Dr. Dreadful Zombie Lab. Let's go.
I'm Dr. Dreadful, and today we're going to be making gross and tasty treats in the Zombie Lab.
So I always wanted to try the Dr. Dreadful Food Lab of the 90s. I know they've had a few different versions over the years. They had the 90s version, which was an iconic ad that I loved as a kid. Then they did a 2000s version, and then this is the 2010s version, I believe. So there's the box, and let's have a look inside. So I've never played with one of these before. I've never even seen one in person. This is my first time having a crack at one of these. And I'm just interested to see what it's like after all these years. Bam. I don't know if I need the box. I'll set that aside for now. What do we get? We get 4 sachets of trash, I'm sure. It's actually 6 sachets of the flavoring or the whatever this stuff is. We have 6 sachets, which seems like a lot. We have this stand piece. More parts of the stand by the look of it. This is the cool zombie face, which looks like the main feature on here. There looks to be the brain, where you pour the gunk in. And then, obviously, the instructions, so an ignoramus like me can put this together. Although I am a doctor, so should be easy. Judging by the box, it looks like it all goes together as one piece. So bear with me as I put this thing together. Okay, so the instructions are a little more complicated than I was anticipating, but this should be okay. Start off with the base piece, and let's put these things on it. I'm just winging it. Halfway there. Then we get this jaw piece. It's idiot proof. Oh, which way is he? Oh, I think I'm facing it the wrong way. That's why. Instructions are there for a reason, people. Just feeling it, it feels a little cheap, which I kind of was expecting, but I don't know how much play value they're expecting to get out of this. Now we're attaching the zombie face. I like the little eye there, that's pretty cool. So they just clip together on it, by the looks of it. And then you eat them. Quality of the plastic doesn't feel very sturdy. I feel like you could break this thing very easily. Number 3, we've got to put his brain in. Every zombie needs a brain. Just pop this bad boy in there. I'm guessing that's it. Okay, so these things, these are the molds, and they just appear to go in the eyeballs. How that's meant to work. Yeah, that's meant to go in there. So that's it put together. Looks kind of cool, I guess. I don't know really what I was expecting. But, let's get to making some brains and stuff. I thought this was all instructions for assembling this thing together, but actually only the first panel is the instructions. Next, it's just all the different ways of making the stuff you eat. They've all got lovely names like zombie skin, bubbling brains, zombie bug, which I don't know what a zombie bug is. And there's also zombie bath, which is awesome. Can't wait to eat some bath. And that's it, yeah, so there's 4 different recipes to go through, and let's try them. For the zombie skin recipe, you'll need some warm water. Obviously need the zombie skin sachet, and this. Doesn't even really utilize this, which is kind of weird, but what the hey. So to start off with, it needs 4 scoops of this. Feeling how much is in here, I'm thinking 4 scoops isn't going to be a lot. Smells like Whiz Fizz or something like that. Probably just pure sugar. I want you to level the scoops out, which I'm not going to concern myself too much with how little or how much I put in here. Just going to wing it, pretty much. 2. It smells really strong. Just scooping this out, I can smell how sweet this is. 3. Now you can tell I can count. 4. Okay, so we're done with the mix. Now I'm going to have 4 equal parts warm water. 1. It's immediately turning red as soon as you hit it with water. I don't know if you can see that there. It's sort of like coagulating. And then it's... I assume you just stir it in? Okay, that's immediately going like hard. I don't feel like that's enough water. I feel like you need more water than that. See, I'm just bucking the trend. Stir until smooth. It's culinary art. As you can tell, I am a chef in my part-time. I feel like I'm getting diabetes just by smelling this. So this is just pouring it out to make the zombie skin. There's the zombie skin. That's gonna sit to cool, and we'll try that at the end of the video. So for the next recipe, we're going to do the zombie bugs. For that, again, you're just gonna need the mix and some warm water, so nice and easy. I'm concerned I'm gonna open this up and it's gonna explode on me, which luckily it did not do. So 2 scoops of the bug mix. Scoop of 1. It smells exactly the same as the zombie skin. So if you've ever wondered what zombie skin and zombie bugs smell like, they smell exactly like each other. This time it wants 2 scoops of water. I don't know if that was a full scoop. I might go an extra scoop just because I'm crazy and I mix it up. It's actually hard to get full scoops out of here. 4 scoops, what the hey. Yeah, again, the same colouring. So you just want to stir until smooth. Stir. Then I want you to pour into the syringe. I want you to place your thumb over it. That is pretty accurate with how many scoops you need, because that exactly fills that up. Oh, maybe a little bit more. Next we want the plunger. I probably should have used my other hand for this, and maybe I shouldn't have filled it up so much. Okay, so now I've got my syringe ready to go, and what we need to do is to fill up these 2 molds here. I don't know if you can see the 2 molds. So there's a bug in the eye and in the forehead. So I don't know how cleanly I'm going to do this, so I'm just going to give it a crack. Take that, zombie. Okay, that may be oozing out a bit. Yep, that is... Hit a major artery here. As you can see, that is not very clean. This is a pretty messy toy to have. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and clean this up a little bit, and hopefully these things set properly. So take 1 of the zombie bugs was a bit of a failure. I didn't realize that you had to make sure these things were completely shut and sealed, so everything just oozed out before it coagulated. So round 2. So again, it needs 2 of these scoops. I ended up with a little bit more last time, so I'm just going to put slightly less this time. Because what I also think didn't help is that when I injected the solution, or injected the goo, it sort of overfilled and then forced it out of the cracks. So 3 scoops of water. I might put slightly more water this time again, because I feel it makes the solution a little betterer? Sweet, so that's nice and runny. So you pour this straight into the plunger. Cool. So yeah, not as much as last time, so that's probably a good thing. So that's it, the plunger is ready to go. I'm going to try and do this to the camera so we can see. So I'm going to start with the zombie bug. I'm sort of using my offhand, so it's hard to see from here. I'm thinking that looks full. So I'm going to stop that for now. Now the eyeballs turn. Again, you can't really tell what I am doing. Okay, so it started to seep out a little bit, so I'm stopping. But yeah, there's the eyeball. You can see he's bleeding from his eye, which is always a sign of a successful surgery. So again, we just got to wait for these to set now. Okay, so now we're going to do the zombie bath. For that, we're just going to need plain water. And there's two different mixes which are going to combine together at the end to make the zombie bath. So part one, I'll just put 90 units of water in this bad boy. Okay, so I've got my 90 units. Now we need bath mix 1. And for this, we need 2 scoops of bath mix 1. And I think this is moron proof. Smells a little different at least. It's blue. Then it wants you to pour in 3 level scoops and then quickly stir. So I'm just going to do this quickly. Kind of smells like maybe bubblegum type of flavored. Put that to the side. And then it wants me to stir, stir, stir. Okay, so I'm going to keep stirring that. It reckons for best results, do not have lumps in it. Which is a motto I live my life by. I'm thinking that's dissolved. You can feel it sort of thickened up a bit. Which I guess if you want to be drinking bath, you want it to be thick. Okay. So now we're done with the mixer. And we're going to be pouring this into the brain. Because everyone knows vomit comes from the brain. So there's no hole or anything. There's no special trick here. Just pour that right in. Fill your brain up with vomit. Yum. Such a 90s thing to be all gross with vomit and bugs and all that sort of stuff. Then it wants you to put this in, lock this into place. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now we're on to part 2. Wants us to rinse this out and then fill it up with 40 units. So I'm going to do that. We've got our 40 units and now we need our bath mix 2. It already smells really sickly sweet in my laboratory here. Which is, I guess, what you're expecting when you're mixing sugar with water, basically. Oh, this one smells... I don't know what that smells like. It smells a little odd. It's more chunky than the other one. I don't know if it's because I've had these in my cupboard for the last 2 years. Now it wants 4 level scoops and stir until the solution is dissolved. So I'm gonna do this quickly again. It's like there's a sugar and then there's like a thicker orange item in there. Again, stir. Stirring. It's not as milky as the other one. It's more translucent. I feel like this one's harder to dissolve though. I'm just trying to get a chunks out because you don't really want chunky bath. Or do you? Okay, so that's stirred now. So now we're ready to mix it. You're meant to put this under here. Because the zombie wants to vomit right into this nodule. So I'm just going to move this over here so we can see a little better. So it wants me to shake the brain. Okay, that's just sloshed right out of the top there. So maybe give the brain a swirl. Like a fine wine. Shake the brain. So I'm going to put that there. So now the zombie brain is back in the head. It's ready to go into the bath. And then place it here. And then zombie vomit. Here we go. I may have pushed that too hard. This is gonna... Okay, that was very close to overflowing then. But, yeah, that looks pretty gross. Yeah. Does look like vomit. Doesn't look very appetizing. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. Yeah, that's chunky. Doesn't look very nice. Now, I was going to try all these things together, but I guess one of the setbacks of this set is that you need to use some of the same features, so time to drink some vomit! It's not very enjoyable, because I didn't use chilled water, so it's like kind of room temperature, and then whatever the solution in here is giving it a chunky feel to it. So it's like the texture of drinking watery snot. Doesn't taste fantastic either, just kind of tastes a little sugary. Which makes sense considering it's just sugar and water. But yeah, you can see the solution there. It's like coagulated above the green. I wonder if I have to sort of drink through this to get to the flavor underneath. Yeah, it's literally just like drinking snot. Not that I've done that before, but that's just what I imagine it. I may as well finish it. You know, my job is to experiment in my laboratory. Yeah, that's not very nice. Okay, so I've taken the eyepiece and whatever that scabby piece was, and I've left them in the fridge to set because I don't know if I mixed too much water in there, so I don't know. It didn't seem like they're quite coagulated yet. But I've got the zombie skin ready to go. As you can see, it's kind of like a texture of a fruit roll-up, maybe. But you're meant to use these tweezers here, very scientific. And you can see that on the camera. Yeah, that's... I don't know if this is separating very well. These tweezers suck. It's really sticky. Screw the tweezers. I'm just going to use my fingers. Ugh. This isn't a very nice texture. I'm just going to use some of it. I don't know if this is really what zombie skin feels like. It looks just like jelly. After the zombie brains, I'm sort of not super stoked on this anymore. Let's try zombie skin. Very rubbery. The flavor's better than the bath was. The texture of it's just really rubbery. That's sort of peeling off a bit better there. Yeah, I'll just try some more because why not? Yeah, the flavor's not bad. I think with both of them it's the texture thing. Because that's just like eating rubber. Not that I've eaten rubber, but it's just a very rubbery texture to it. So the flavor's good. I don't mind the flavor of it. Whereas the bath, the flavor wasn't very nice. And the texture was gross. The flavor's alright, but the texture's still off. So far, 2 out of 4 things. Meh. Okay, so I've got the bugs ready to go. Part of the appeal of the original ad from the 90s, insert here, was I thought the bug or the lolly section looked really cool when he would like peel it out and he was like, and then you eat them. That was my favorite part, and I always wanted to try because of this. It's sort of a bit lame that there's only 2 molds and it would take you quite a while to make a number of these, but I'm feeling because it's the same type of mixture as the zombie skin that these are just going to be rubbery and not very good. But this mold, I don't know if you can see, but it hasn't sort of dripped out the bottom and it's not fully in there. So I may struggle to get this one out. But there we're going to open it up. And it kind of looks cool. It's got the arachnid sort of shape there. It's sort of not filled in the hole where I've injected it, but it's filled into all the extremities. And I don't know how easy this is going to be to get out. Oh, it's in one piece at least. Well, sort of one piece. It's like a spider with no head.
And then you eat them.
It's kind of a little nicer because it's been in the fridge, so it's cool. The flavor's exactly the same as the skin. The texture's probably a little nicer than the skin because the skin was like rubbery, but then you could feel some grit to it. This is pretty much just like a gummy lolly, so that was alright. Let's try number 2. Then we're going to crack this open. This one looks way cooler than the spider. This one sort of worked out a bit better. Yeah, that's actually got the texture that I remember, or it looks like what I remember from the ads from the 90s. Yeah, that's alright. That part is probably my favorite part of this whole thing. So the last recipe that I wanted to do was the bubbling brains, which is pretty much the iconic sort of image on the top. I remember the brains looking pretty cool in the original ad from the 90s as well, so simplest one to make. And I just wanted to save it till last because it looks like it might be the messiest, which is saying something because all the other ones have proved to be pretty messy, but let's go. So you're going to use both the brain mix. There's the brain mix and the brain mix activator. Open these bad boys up. Let's just open them both up first. I'm a scientist. So you'll also need 15 units of water, which I've already prepared. And then we want 2 scoops of the brain mix. So 1 scoop. I feel like this is gonna fill this up quite quickly. 2 scoops. So there's the brain mix for you. And then you want 3 scoops of the activator. Zombie brains, activate. This kind of looks like brown sugar if you look at it. Kind of looks like brown sugar there. 3. Then it tells you to stir them together. I guess you want to get them nice and mixed. Sort of making a mess, but it's going to make a mess anyway, so YOLO. Cool, so that is now mixed. Last step. It says pour and enjoy. Okay, I don't know if you can see it on this camera, but it seems to be like frothing up very slowly. Might speed this up. Watch brains grow. It's like watching grass grow. I kind of expected it to be like a science experiment volcano that you do in school where it just bubbles up, but it's a little less exciting than that. Because as you can see on the image here, it makes it seem like it's going to go into a big mass. But here it's barely left the top of the zombie. I might move it over to this camera. Hurry up. So that was boring and I got sick of waiting, so I'm going to put in extra activator, which I'm assuming... I'm just going to put extra everything. And hopefully, we get some fireworks going. Activator! Activate. Activator. Activate. Activator. What I'm also going to do, because fun times, I'm just going to pour some in here. That's basically the whole sachet. And I'm going to pour some activator in here. And then I'm making a mess. Stir, stir, stir. Stir, stir, stir. Pour, pour, pour. I'm just going to pour it over the top. And then I'm going to pour the rest in here. Go on, brains. Now that's bubbling. Still not super fast. I'm going to put that there for the camera to see. Yeah, it's still not as impressive as the ad makes it out to be. Like, if you see it there, it looks like super gruesome and bulky. But let's try it. Again, I don't know because it hasn't activated much. The texture's not very nice. It's kind of really grainy and just not pleasant. Okay, so I've left this for a few minutes now. The glop in the brain didn't really bubble up much. The one in the glass did way better, but you can see how much fluid's at the bottom of that. I'm just going to try some more of this just to see if it's gotten any... the texture's changed. The flavor is just the same as the zombie skin and the zombie bugs. The textures of these things aren't very enjoyable. That was a bit chunky, that piece. So yeah, the zombie brain doesn't really do much for me. I regret doing that. That's pretty disgusting. I'm not gonna lie, that is quite gross. Zombie brains suck. So yeah, that's the Dr. Dreadful Zombie Lab. All in all, it's pretty disappointing. It may be a bit of fun for kids. I mean, I'm an adult kid, so probably not designed for me. But the thing I noticed, it's really messy. So if you did have a kid or you were playing with it with your kid, you probably want to keep an eye on them and do it in like a kitchen or somewhere, because this stuff gets everywhere. And I made an effort to try and clean up on the way, but I just feel sticky and ugh. Overall, I didn't enjoy really anything that I ate. The bugs were probably the best part about it. The brain in the bath was pretty gross. The brain, I actually feel a little unwell after having consumed that. Maybe it's because I drank like a whole sachet or nearly a whole sachet. That probably wasn't a smart decision. So yeah, I don't really know how popular this is with kids. Definitely a disappointment. I don't know how similar this is to the set they made when I was a kid, but if I got something like this, maybe I would have enjoyed it a bit more back then. But I think overall I would have been disappointed because the ad made it seem really cool, and the reality of it is it's pretty gross. But overall, I'm glad I tried it. After 25 years of wanting to have a go, I've checked it out and I'm never going to do it again. So guys, thank you very much for watching this episode with me, Dr. KB. Let me know what you thought of this video, something a little different for the channel, something I've wanted to do for quite a while. I picked this setup probably 2 years ago with the intention of doing this. I finally got round to it. I'm glad I did. It was really fun. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Drop your comments. Let me know what you thought. And I'll catch you guys next time.